Welcome back. About 10,000 skilled jobs are projected to be created, along with 12.3 billion Sing dollars in additional annual revenue from Enterprise Singapore's business transformation support in 2025. While these figures are lower than the year before, the agency says it remains a significant achievement amid ongoing economic volatility and uncertainty.
The scale of the projects have actually shrunk. So in other words, companies, I think rightly so, understandably so, are becoming a lot more careful when they embark on projects that involve a large sums of investments and capex. So a lot of the capabilities and efficiency projects that we saw in 2025 was actually software related. So lower costs and also therefore lower gains.
Last year, ESG supported a total of 11,700 firms, 2,400 of which embarked on a major transformation journey. This includes diversifying through product development, overseas expansion, and building core capabilities like automation. These transformations are expected to generate about 12.3 billion Sing dollars in additional revenue. Companies that expanded their offerings and services are projected to bring in $900 million. Automation could contribute another $5.6 billion. Firms that expanded overseas are expected to add $5.7 billion more. Overall, each transformed company is projected to earn an average of $7.5 million in additional revenue. Now, 10,000 jobs are expected to be created from these transformations. These are mainly roles in headquarter support, business managers, and product developers. ESG says businesses in sectors like manufacturing, professional services, and wholesale trade were among those to undergo these transformations. Companies planning to expand with new products and enter new markets for the first time will get more support. Enterprise Singapore says details of such programs will be announced later. The agency will also open 2 new offices in the US this year to deepen its overseas presence and provide support to Singapore firms. Businesses say this is vital as they expand amid an uncertain business and tariff environment. Nadirah Zaidi has more.
70% of this Singapore-owned furniture store's global revenue comes from the US, its biggest market. Last year, Castlery expanded into the UK, Canada and Australia despite tariff and economic uncertainty to diversify their sales and operations. The company says it sped up those plans when US consumer demand fell for the first 6 months after President Donald Trump announced tariffs on 2nd April.
I think what it helped was to buffer off the slowdown in the US. But because in UK and in Canada, it's not even 1 year of opening. So the impact as a group is still only single-digit %. And for Brisbane as well. But what this helped is because US came down slightly, it net off that drop.
Expansion was not easy. It faced uncertainty over cost, manpower, and regulations. Supply chain challenges added to the complexity. But Enterprise Singapore's support gave the company greater confidence to move ahead.
We have a multi-year program with them in terms of talent development. So that's helped because we have put project teams from HQ to develop these 2 growth levers, the offline and new markets. So all those were done from Singapore. More specifically in the UK, we needed to understand the intricacies. There were regulatory differences. You needed to get certain approvals. So they put us all in touch with the right bodies to kind of go through those processes.
To support more local firms in its transformation journey, Enterprise Singapore plans to change the way it engages with businesses from a reactive way to a more proactive one. That's why it's launching the Centre for Enterprises Financing Advisory as well as its digital platform called My Enterprise sometime this year.
So for example, if there are new tariffs that may affect them, and we know this, they are selling to the US and they are sourcing from China to sell to the US. And there are new tariffs that the US is imposing on China. We may send them an alert and tell them, you may want to consider something. You may want to find out more about this.
Enterprise Singapore also supported companies in exploring new opportunities in far-flung countries like Angola and Fiji.
Now, Enterprise Singapore says it will help companies use artificial intelligence efficiently. More sectors will have access to workshops to share feedback on AI transformation pain points. And as Nadirah Zaidi reports, one logistics firm which used technology and AI have cut operational costs and doubled revenue over the past 6 years.
Logistics firm iHub Solutions deployed this robotic arm in its warehouse for tasks like folding and stacking in October 2025. Since then, it's freed up time for workers to upskill and redeployed into higher-level roles, such as forklift operations and supervisory positions. But the firm's managing director says automation needs to be introduced carefully.
Does it reduce their work? Does it make their job easier? That means it takes the tediousness out of it. The other second fact that we must always remember is it must also impact our customers. It gives better service, better range of services to the customers. And we work based on these two premises.
The company has also created new roles like AI engineers, robotic programmers and data scientists to develop tailored solutions. The move came after there was growing demand for its software integration services.
Because companies are realizing the impact of big data on their business, and it's like a hidden treasure. And that's the reason why we have machine learning, we have AI coming, because it's tapping on this data. But the problem with digitalization is if you did not digitize and you didn't collect the data, then you cannot start anything. You cannot do AI, you cannot do machine learning, you cannot do any optimization.
The logistics firm is just one of 2,400 firms that underwent major transformations last year. It even plans to spin off a software company in the future. According to Enterprise Singapore, such companies have benefited from these changes.
Companies that adopted new technologies and solutions to boost their cost competitiveness estimate to reduce their annual cost by $180 million in total and $200,000 per company on average.
To further support firms in their automation journey, the agency will work with industry partners to develop these transformative AI solutions and also expand feedback workshops to other sectors beyond logistics, manufacturing and wholesale trading.